All right, I'm just gonna pack these, well, not pack them away, but just put a box around them and label this as a test and leave that to one side. Okay, and then jump back into our agent setup. So let's bring in the FBXs that I want to use. So make sure you use the FBXs specifically for each week, right? Because they're not all the same. So I'm going to use this woman T-pose. Okay. So this one is scaled down to, you know, about life. That's 2 meters, so it's about correct for the agent. I'll do the same for the man for the moment. Man T-pose. Okay, so I've got him in there as well. And the agent clip, I'm just going to delete these ones and bring in a couple of others. So here we need an FBX. Go ahead and find the, we're going to use the sit. So we're going to use the same one for both agents. Sit, I'll call it sit 01. Don't convert the units. Let's take a look at it. Okay. So yeah, we're just going to use one for both. So we can just drag this over and you see it works for both. Before we do that, make sure, yeah, we convert to in place animation on both. I could just select them both and it should work. Okay, and grab the locomotion node, the Mixamo rig hips for that. Orient we don't need. Can put that on, but it really doesn't matter here. So that's fine. Okay, so we got this sit on both, and then we got all the layers set up, ready to go as well. Good. The agent prep, yeah, I'm just going to delete them actually. We don't need that at all. So I think we're ready to just make sure the names are correct. The clip names, yeah, make sure that's correct. So woman underscore T-pose. And this one, man underscore, I'll make sure they're both the same. I'm using a T-pose here just because it's easier using this to set up our collision geometry and the constraints as well. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to change this to T-pose and let's look at adding our collision geometry. Okay, agent configure, where is it? Collision layer. Okay, so as you can see, as long as you've got your gizmo here selected, okay, if not, I think you can just press, if you press enter, it enters the, you know, this mode. So you can see that we've got dots which represent the bones on our agent. Okay, one for each bone, I think. So as I said before, you know, we've got a lot of detail in the hands here. We definitely don't need all that. I'm just going to have, I think, one for the hands, one for the head, maybe one for the neck as well, and then 2 or 3 for the torso, 2 for the leg, 1 for the foot, and that would be fine. Okay, so let's begin. I just click on the head, and you can see it brings in everything for us, and then we can go in here and scale this shape accordingly. So yeah, I'm just going to be using capsules for all of these, and oops, something like that looks okay to me. So if you right click on it, you get these different handles. You got box, which I'm on at the moment, or orientation. You can see the shortcuts BNO, so there I can turn it a bit if I want. Press B to go back to the box, and then I can line it up a bit better like that. Okay, and then I'd like to, I think, add the neck as well. Just going to bring that in a bit at the back. I think it's better to make your shapes bigger as opposed to smaller in reference to the geometry, because I think it's more noticeable. Let's say if she collides with a wall and you know there's going to be a bit of space there. But if this shape is smaller and she clips the wall, I think that stands out a bit more. So you know, I'm normally quite generous with the sizes I use. Okay, bring that. Oops. And once I'm done with this, I'm gonna start that again. I'm just going back there and starting it again. Get my box, get the size, because the orientation seemed a bit strange. Yeah, once I'm done with this, I'll probably just copy and paste. By the way, I'm pressing Shift, click and drag to change both sides at the same time. It's just a bit quicker, I find. Rotate that. Also, yeah, we're gonna have overlapping shapes here, but that's not too much of a problem. We can set up the in the simulation so that they don't collide. Okay, any two joints which are constrained to each other don't collide with each other. Cool. So let's do the torso. So I'm going to grab, it's a bit off center, but that doesn't matter. Grab this and start to scale it up. Just get the general size first, and then I'll rotate it into position. Press O. Bit more rotation. Let's see, make sure it's lined up correctly. Can be a bit fiddly, this work, but we'll get there. B to go back into my box handle. Okay, and probably make it a bit narrow this way. Something like that looks good. Okay, I might bring it up a bit more because I'm going to add this one for kind of the tummy area. Shift and drag, pull that out. Same on the other side. So yeah, I'm adding more joints than I probably normally would here, because the simulation is quite violent, really. It's, you know, it's really energetic with a, you know, and I'm going to be wanting the agents to be going into some, you know, being forced through some little gaps and things. So I need that flexibility, and I prefer it with more joints than just looser kind of with more collision shapes as opposed to looser limbs. So the hip is kind of in a weird place at the side here, which is a bit annoying. So you just got to kind of do the same thing again, open it out and then bring it into position. And I'm going to twist this round again. Let's see. Getting there. It's a bit twisted. Press O. It's a good idea to go into wireframe every now and again. So yeah, big gaps like that will be a problem. So bring that up and bring this one down. So they're just starting to overlap. Okay, Let's do the arms. So I'm not going to do this shoulder here. I'm just going to grab this joint, stretch it out a bit, bring it into the elbow, and just take a look at the bone where it goes to there, and tighten it up. Something like that. Okay. Just overlap these just a bit, so we get some kind of covering there at the elbow. Good. Okay, and let's do one for the hand. Again, yeah, I'm just going to do one big shape. There's one big glove. Do want to try and get the thumb in there. Almost, there we go. Probably pull it in at the back there and stretch this one out. Okay, that looks okay. Do the same on the other side. Obviously, you know, I'm going fairly quickly here. You can take as much time as you like, get the shapes working, and do lots of tests. You know, drop the well, once you have your constraints as well, do lots of tests with the ragdoll test SOP, just to get a feel for what different shapes do, and you know, play around with with boxes and different constraint values. You can also add forces with the ragdoll SOP as well, which is useful. Pull that out. Oh, I think that went in the wrong direction. Down there. Okay, that's fine. And finally, let's do the legs. So drop one there. Let's take a look at the limb. Pull them in a bit. Pull that forward. Probably pull this hip down a bit as well. Okay, and the shins. Tighten that up. Same here. That looks fine. And then just the feet. Again, I'm just going to do one for the whole thing. Let's rotate it first. Make sure it's level with the ground. Back to my box handle. Open it out, stretch it out. Okay, that's fine. And then the same thing on the other side. Suppose you could copy and paste the values so that they're identical, you know, left and right, but I don't think it's all that important. you're a perfectionist, by all means. But then some, you know, some variation is always good in a simulation. Okay, something like that should work fine. We might want to come back and play around with these values. I'll just save that now, just in case. And then alt click and drag. I'm just going to literally drop it on top here. Make sure he's in the T-pose as well. Okay, we've got the same clips there, yeah. And let's just visualize them, see if we want to alter this at all. So maybe this forearm here, pull that out. Same here. This one. So we can just copy these over because the rigs are, in terms of their names, identical. This needs to go back to there, maybe rotate it a little bit. The same for this guy. Probably pull it down as well. Box. Okay, and these foot needs to be aligned. Got bigger feet. That's okay. And let's see, probably this one. These ones I'm gonna make them a bit bigger. Up there. Like that. So this big gap as well, we don't want to have that. Let's pull that out and pull this forward and get them to meet halfway. Like that. Probably needs to do the same here. Also this gap at the shoulder. Pull those in. And this guy as well. Probably, let's see, where is that? Pull this torso back as well. Maybe rotate it a bit. Oh, not where I want to be. Okay, that looks fine. Great. So we can move on next with our constraints.